Hey, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob from 99 Ways Crypto. Alright, so this is the first video in a series of EMP news and talk. I'm going to try and do one of these EMP news feeds on a weekly basis where I'll give you a bit of a wrap of what's been happening in the EMP space. If this is something you want me to continue to do, creating these news feeds, please let me know by making a comment below. That way I'll know that I'm adding some value to the EMP community. I've been taking down some notes from the talkback, or AMAs if you will, that EMP team host on Telegram each day. The team jumps on Telegram 10 minutes prior to the draw and they do a countdown, and then they discuss obviously who wins the daily lotto and who has the highest deposit. And then they go into some discussion about what's happening in the space of EMP, and they also open the floor up to anybody who would like to ask questions. In today's video, I'm going to take you through 5 talking points that I picked up through the week, but you're going to want to stick around to the very end because I will give out a bonus talking point, so make sure you stay to the end. Anyway, this is where the content has come from, so let's get into it. For those of you who may not know, the EMP project is a fork of the Tomb Finance. Now let's get into some EMP news / talk. The thing we want to look at is the EMP Academy. So currently, Crypto Mike has been working on building or developing an academy. So the release looks very soon, within the next couple of days. And what they're looking to create is a learning portal to skill up users with incentives for those who complete the academy, like lotto tickets. So you might go into the draw, for example, and that will incentivize people to participate. So they're going to be knocking out a few videos shortly, and that's going to be a great asset for the EMP community. So it's easy to digest. And the community is pretty excited about it, and is saying that the community is going to love it, and they're looking forward to the release of it very shortly. The second thing we're going to discuss is the overall project health. As most of you realize, that we've been under peg for about a week now, and we briefly came out of peg for a couple of epochs, and we slid back into under peg, and we're back out of peg again. In my opinion, from what happened with the market last week and the bounce back that we've had through EMP, really shows and plays to its strengths. It's really important to remember that this is a long game project. It's not a pump and dump type of project, so it's important to keep that in mind. So there's still lots of money sitting in the treasury, and they've got a great system that sits in behind and keeps feeding back into that treasury. I think which really makes this protocol strong, and you can see the long-term future for it. If they did start to reduce the money in the treasury to do buybacks, then we could end up in a lot worse place than being on the peg. So it's much better off to be patient, don't dump your holdings, and just keep growing your bag. That's the best advice that the team have been giving since we've been under the peg. I think this project, it's from a health perspective, has the ability to be around and last quite a number of years, given the caliber of the team. They've been around the block, and they believe themselves. They know what it takes to keep the project up and running long term. They've taken the best contracts that have been out for a long time, and added additional parts of those contracts, which really strengthens the health of this current contract that they've got going. Introduction of the Detonator contract has been phenomenal, and that again feeds back into the overall health of the project. Currently, the lotto prize is around about So it's been floating about 17,000 US dollars, and I think I saw it yesterday or today it was at $19,000. So that's a massive incentive for people to get in, and get a lotto ticket. So you can see that's just an incentive to keep bringing new money into the project, which for the overall health is fantastic. The lotto, they expect that the more people come into it, at the moment, it's around that 17,000, it'll get to 50K. So you can imagine how many people are going to want to come in to a protocol that they can win 50,000 in a day. So that will get some real movement by bringing new people into the space. And all of that goes because it's a locked LP. It all goes into that TVL, which is an absolute game changer in my opinion. Once people people get to the point where they start to claim, then you'll notice your own daily burst will skyrocket. That's for sure. So, the more people that you can bring into the protocol will make it even stronger and healthier. But at the end of the day, you've got to do it all as a community and follow the processes and follow the strategies that are going to continue to help the health of the overall project. As long as the community sticks together, this project will only go from strength to strength. The next discussion point is strategies when we are under peg. We'll discuss some of the strategies that you can undertake that the team spoke about during the week to best help the protocol when we do go under peg. One of the first things that the team suggests is certainly do not dump your EMP, but to use it to improve your position, to grow your bag. Next thing you might want to do is just ensure that you're compounding like crazy and just keep compounding back into the system. The strategy is to use the referral link in the detonator to bring in new people and help spread the word. Things about the referral link is that it is sticky, which means that if users jump from tabs between the protocol, it will still track, and once they finally come into the system, you will receive that referral reward. So we generally go below peg when users on the platform dump their LP holdings or dump the EMP token itself. So if they dump their LP holdings in the farms, this is also something that will make us go under peg. So this is what makes this project so strong, is that the detonator contract, the LP tokens, are non-redeemable, I guess. They're there in perpetuity. This mechanism, the detonator, stops people from doing a pump and dump and creates stability within the EMP token itself. When the market dumps and we go below peg, that's a great time to actually buy more EMP when it's at a lower price and be able to redeem it later. Great strategy is to utilize the EMP bonds. So take all your EMP coins or tokens and then buy them as bonds, and then basically when the EMP price is low, you purchase the bonds and then you purchase them back when the EMP goes above peg. Redeeming the bonds, you end up obviously selling your tokens back to the system without ever letting them go at a greater price. So it's better for you and it's better for the project. The strategy that is more helpful to the project is going into the ETH farm rather than the BNB farm. So that's the other strategy that they stress that is the best way to do it. So go into the ETH farm or go into the detonator. Basically, the detonator's overall LP has been growing by 3% a day. So you can only imagine where this project could be in a few months' time. Strategy to help the project when we go into peg is if everybody in the project would put in 0.15 into the detonator, it would go a long way to sustaining the EMP token to the staying at peg. And 0.15 also will get you a lottery ticket. So that's something that's really worth considering doing when we do go below peg. One, it helps yourself because you're in the running to obviously win the lotto. And secondly, it helps the protocol. Let's now move on to discussion point 4, which is about partnerships. So let's take a look at some of the solid partnerships that the team's been building over the last few weeks. So EMP has partnered with Zen Sports, and from my understanding, it's more of a pure marketing partnership where there will be some advertisements, but they also talk about the protocol itself within Zen Sports. This morning, AJ mentioned that he'd just about signed a deal with a YouTuber with over 300,000 subscribers, and he should be signing off on that very soon. So they're working with a real big dog, and as we all know, a lot of marketing and influence comes from YouTubers, and they bring a lot of people, new people to these sorts of protocols. So that's another one that they're working on at the moment, trying to figure out what's working from a marketing perspective and what's not working. So they've got their fingers in a few different pies at the moment, and they're going to come back and start to give some statistics on sort of lead generation and where they're seeing some conversion. So that's good to look forward to. Yeah, so some of their biggest hurdles at the moment definitely is getting the word out there about EMP. So they are really, they actually don't want to throw away, unnecessary money on marketing that's not working. So they're still at that discovery phase at present before we start to see what's really working for the protocol. Crypto Mike mentioned that he's looking at an all-female Instagram account that has over 2 million followers, and there's some potential there to partner with them. So apparently Mike is going to be flying out to Dubai to meet with them and see what comes of it. So that should be a really good one if you can pull that off. Crypto Mike also talked about doing a partnership with a real professional outfit. I've forgotten what the name was, or I didn't quite catch it anyway. And they're a professional yield farming entity, and they have a course that costs individuals around 10K to take. So Mike is looking to partner with them and obviously could bring in potentially thousands of people into the protocol. So it could potentially blow up really quick if that comes to fruition. It's more like a marketing firm, this partnership that looks after projects. So the relationship will be more of an advertisement type of deal by the sounds of things. And so AJ also said that all partnerships that they will be involved in would go through the proper channels and vetted by the team and the community, just so they don't end up partnering with anybody that's not great for the protocol. That brings us to our fifth talking point, and the fifth talking point is around the metaverse. So AJ, when talking about the metaverse, AJ, he could hear the excitement in his voice. So this is something quite big, and Crypto Mike again was talking about Loot NFT, I think it is, doing something with those guys, and I understand that they have purchased, the EMP team have purchased a couple of plots on the metaverse for EMP, which is very exciting, and you can see that the team is very excited about that news. Yeah, so the trend is your friend. So 2022 is all about the metaverse. Without a doubt, 22's narrative is all about the metaverse. We're now in a new era. On the cusp of the metaverse. Every company out there is looking to get their fingers into the metaverse. So yeah, they're looking at that at the moment. So Loot NFT, Mike has done an AMA with them recently in one of his YouTube videos. Highly recommend you go check that out. And they've purchased, as I said, 5 plots of NFT Loot. The Loot project apparently is mind-blowing, and that there's so much detail on their level of metaverse that they're creating. NFT Loot Metaverse actually launches. EMP will be there on day one. Full 3D immersion on the EMP plot, and you can walk through the metaverse into the EMP plot, which could be pretty exciting. Who knows where that will go? Yeah, they're building a pretty strong team, and in terms of AJ, apparently he's pretty good at digital graphics. He's even done some works for the likes of Obama, so he's a pretty talented guy. Very exciting news, and thoroughly looking forward to that dropping when it does. For those of you who've stuck around this long, good on you. Now it's time to give you a couple of little bonus things that the guys have been working on, and some bonus tips that might help you out if you're into EMP. So here we go. So the development team are working on a bot, or it's more of a UI apparently, that will display the jet phase, so that users have more clarity on what's going on during that jet phase, and whether it's in contraction or expansion at that point. So it'll be really handy to have that, so we understand when EMP it goes into the dead phase. There's a certain percentage that obviously is paid back to the treasury before it starts out paying the full rewards. So we'll have a bit more clarity on that as they build that new UI. So they have been building an OTC swap, which is now going on the back burner, as they need a bigger treasury to get that one off the ground. However, they are working on 2 other contracts that will support EMP and eShare, but this will be revealed further down the track. AJ kind of dropped a little bit of alpha on that this morning. What AJ was talking about there was it's a new user case, or a burn mechanic. It's a time-weighted staking farm, as a single asset contract, and it's a single staking farm which will give you an option to do something with your EMP rather than sell it, because we don't obviously want people to offload their EMP coin. And it's a time locking mechanic built into it, so that you can't just get in and out when you feel like. So this stops that pump and dump, and it gives the protocol and the users a little bit more control, where there's a time frame where you might put into the farm, and whether it be 3 days, or a month, 2 months, whatever it might be. When I hear any updates on that one, I'll be sure to make another video, I guess. The team's also working on a multiplier UI, where you would get bonuses on new deposits and also bonuses on compounding potentially. So this incentivise new users and new depositors, to come into the contract. They won't be launching this anytime soon, as it's kind of a double-edged sword, where it can take away some of the shares from existing users. And if it does get launched, they would give us a full heads up when that happens. It's more of a safety net, apparently. If the contract starts to drain, they might implement something like that. So they're building it in the background with the intention of implementing it if they have to. So we won't see it. Let's hope we don't see it at all, if that's the case, by the sounds of my understanding of what they were building it for. But yeah, so let's see what happens on that. To reward you guys that have stuck around this long watching this video, here's a couple of little tips or tricks that I picked up throughout the week. And the first one is that there seems to be a pattern in terms of sell-offs. So sell-offs occur every day after each epoch ends, and this is when the boardroom pays out, obviously. It also occurs, a sell-off can sometimes occur at the end of the Detonator daily draw. So we can see that that's happening. So we can take advantage of that by buying at these times, because the sell-off has an effect on the EMP token price. And so that's a good time to jump in. So after the epoch finishes and after the daily draw, you will see a fluctuation, and that's the time to get in. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, which was raised by Crypto Mike. He was probably on the go, and he was using his mobile device, or cellular phone as you guys call it in the US, to try and compound using MetaMask, and it just doesn't do anything. So what he found was that if you switch off your Wi-Fi on your mobile or cell phone, you'll find that the actual transaction will go through. So that's another little tip and trick if you're on the go, and especially because the detonator is time sensitive, and that you have to basically collect your rewards at the right before the daily draw. And you're on the go, might not always be in front of your computer, so you might need to use your mobile device to obviously claim your rewards. And yeah, that's a great tip, is just to switch off your Wi-Fi and use your cell phone data, and you should be able to still claim those hard-earned rewards. So I know it was a bit of a long one. Look, there's probably about a week and a half's worth of material there. As I'll get better at creating notes and more specific, and try and shorten this down a little bit. But this was just a taster of what I wanted to do here in terms of bringing some tips and news to you guys. So if it's something you enjoyed, please give me a thumbs up, because it helps with the algorithm. It helps, obviously, the more people that get exposure to EMP, the better for all of us. If you're interested getting into EMP, and like you feel like you missed out on drip, that you might have missed the boat on that one, then EMP is definitely the perfect platform for you to get into and start to make some good returns. You don't have to. The best thing about EMP is you don't actually have a lot of money to put in. There's obviously some people out there doing videos who've got a lot of money. I'm just the guy that's got a little bit of money to throw into these sorts of things, and but you got to think about this as a long game, a long strategy. And if you keep on compounding, you will make some good money out of this. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Even better, subscribe to the channel, then you won't miss out when I create more of these videos on a weekly basis. I'm also dropping other videos on all things DeFi and crypto. So if you're into that, by all means, we'd love to have you in the on the team. And yeah, subscribe, thumbs up. Enjoy your evening. Thanks for watching. Rob out.